It's New Brew Thursday!
Woo!
And I'm in a bit of a sour mood today.
Sour.
Yeah, but there's one way to help that. It's with some sour beers.
Sour beers.
Help a sour mood with sour beers.
That's right. Yep.
Feed the sour.
Yep. So
Feed the sour monster within you, Matt. Just do it. Feed it.
you need to copyright that. That's a good phrase. But we're doing something pretty cool. We've got two different sour cherry beers. We got one from the U.S. in the breweries Sans Pagaie. But to start things off, we're doing like pretty much one of the like sour beer all-time classics. Yeah, exactly. We're doing a Cantillon Kriek.
And you might be wondering why it's already been poured.
Yeah,
I was not, but I know what your thinking was on that. So
I wasn't complaining.
I wasn't yet actually thinking about anything. If you read the back of the bottle, Jean Van Roy, who brews this beer and is
he's a swell guy.
part owner of the brewery, this says this is a blend of the world's best lambics, greatest lambics. Basically, he says to serve it at 55 or cellar it at 55 degrees. You don't want to serve it too cold, and he does recommending letting it breathe for about a half hour.
Oh, right on.
So kind of like the same thing you do with a wine. You're not gonna aerate it
Right.
like you would a wine, I guess. I'm not a big wine guy, but
I just assumed you didn't want to have to do the whole like watch us try to pull the cork out of the bottle during the show thing.
no, it was actually for a reason because that's what he
All right.
recommends. So I'm not gonna go against what he wants us to do. I figured if that's
What
what,
does
he
he
says
know?
to do,
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Well, anyways, yeah, let's dive in here. One thing that like pops right away for me, well, cherries obviously, but Lambic, especially Cantillon Lambic, has a certain kind of like briny sort of character. It's almost like salty. In
Right.
a
Yeah.
way, and that's like always one of the first things that hits me when you have
it's a little
Cantillon.
salinic, and you
it's
get that
saline.
funk off the nose that kind of blends with the sour tart of the cherries. That really just kind of totally works.
it really hits you not in a wow, this is a sour beer and it's going to be awesome. Speaking of the brewery, they have a beer called Motherfunker.
Yeah.
That is just the ultimate sour beer.
I recommend
Like,
pairing that beer with Tums.
it's, I mean, yeah, it's just so sour. It's in my opinion, too sour.
Well, and it's gotten
It's
it's
that-
basically
that
the line
one
got
cut,
drawn down the middle where people either loved it or they absolutely hated it.
Right.
And I loved it. I thought it was a great beer. But
It tastes good in
it is
small quantities.
super sour.
You can't drink a pint of that beer, no
Yeah,
way.
seriously.
So, but this is not. This kind of like has that really acidic aroma. The cherries come through. I mean, even a little bit of vinegar. I mean, maybe not a little bit.
It's not into
a
the
good
acidic
balance.
area, but it's like right on the border.
So
Yeah.
it smells awesome. And
It
this,
more adds to the complexity than anything.
Right.
Yeah. And it's nice because, people talk a lot about like aging lambics and stuff like that. For me, I can't stand aged fruit lambic at all.
Ooh.
It's like because there's in this. I mean, this is pretty fresh, and there's like a vibrancy to the fruit character. It's like it has that like fleshiness.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think,
This is in 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
So it's.
April 2011, for those of you who are like more specific.
I think it was.
April 3rd, 2011.
Yeah.
Where do you see the
But-
date?
Down at the bottom.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Actually, no, the 13th. Sorry. April 13th.
The cool thing
2011.
though, it like when you taste it initially, it's very smooth,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of glides over your tongue, and it's awesome.
It's not really
After you
brash.
swallow it, it kind of just builds and builds and builds, and like the sides of your tongue just.
Kind of get the pucker.
Yeah, really gets the
Yeah.
salivary glands going.
It's not something that's just like, oh god, yeah, that's sour. It's enjoyable to drink, and then it gives you a little tart finish. I think it's.
Yeah, and
the
it's
cherries are huge in the taste.
Yeah, well, and it's nice because I mean, with any beer of this caliber, for me, it's like every sip I take, I get something a little bit different. Like,
What
I
about
almost
with every
get,
breath
like,
you take? Do you feel like somebody's watching you?
Every move I make, yes. But I almost get like a floral, almost like a rose kind of, like a rosy kind of character to it. You guys obviously aren't with me, but the people are, aren't you?
I can see what you're saying.
The people love you, Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I like
it's-
this. This is. I mean, anybody who would drink a Cantillon and be like, "Oh, I don't like it." I mean, if you don't like sour beers, that's one thing. But if you're a sour beer fan and you're like, "I don't like Cantillon," then you're not a sour beer fan.
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, there's something wrong
Seriously.
inside your head.
Yeah,
So-
Cantillon's something that At least on the West Coast, we don't see it a whole lot.
Yeah, screw you people on the East Coast with your
seriously.
tripping over cases of Cantillon.
It is imported by Shelton Brothers, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, when we do get it, it flies off the shelf
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so.
it's one of those things that your local beer dude at your beer store takes the case, puts it in the back, and gives it to the cool people.
That's what happened to me. I came in and
John's one of the cool people.
where I buy my beer. She was like, "Hey, we have a Cantillon. Do you want it?" And I just kind of looked at her, and she just walked back.
Bitch, please, do I want it?
I was like, "Of
Want
course
it in my
want
mouth.
it."
Yeah, exactly.
But I've never had the Kriek. I've had Rose de Gambrinus
Iris.
and Iris. I think that's it, actually.
Okay.
No, you said
Yeah.
Iris.
For a while, I mean, I was really.
Have you had their? You've had their original, right? The basic Cantillon.
Yeah, the. Really?
I got a bottle of that.
Oh, we gotta hook
Bring
you
that back.
up.
Oh wait, there was one more. What's the other one that's? Oh God,
There's a lot of them.
this is where the show just comes to a screeching halt.
Well,
I had it at Newport Beach Brewing Company, and the guy you used to work with brought it.
Oh, the Vigneron, the wine one, or the Saint Lamvinus.
No, I forgot the name of it.
I went on.
It's another popular Cantillon.
Yeah, when I was I was big on trading for a while, and when I did, I went on a massive Cantillon binge. I mean, there are certain ones that I haven't had. I haven't had the whole Lupepe series, which is unfortunate because
It was Lupepe.
they're amazing. Yeah, because they have
It was Lupepe.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
because there's
I don't know which one, but it was one.
right, which is
Lupepe.
they're stupidly good, but yeah, so I had the Cuvée de Champions and all these other ones that are just stupidly delicious, and all of them are worth finding.
Yeah, but this beer is so good. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of time and just talent that went into this, you can taste it. You know?
Definitely.
It's flawless. I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely.
And I'm not. That's the yeast shot, by
Yes,
the
it
way.
is.
I wanted to shut the mouth.
But yeah,
Well, do you want it in there?
Oh. Hit me.
well, while we share this yeast shot, we're gonna go off to a Master Pairings.
Yeah.
This one is actually
Look what it does to the glass. It's so messy and nasty.
creamy
I love
now.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like one of those.
I can make so many off-color jokes right now, but you can thank me for not doing that.
Good restraint.
Yeah.
Good restraint, Stephen. It almost looks like unfiltered, grapefruit juice.
It looks like melted strawberry popsicle.
Tastes amazing though.
Like you'd buy off the guy with the cart that walks down the street. You know.
So, what about the Master Pairings?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in California.
Southern California, yeah.
That's true, Dad.
But yeah, I think it's food, this one. But if it happens to be cigars, don't hate us.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Master Pairing. I'm your host, Bill Sysak. I have Stephen Johnson from New Brew Thursday and one of my newest dogs, Ipa, IPA for short. And she's a wonderful, sweet thing who loves sushi apparently. Okay, Ipa, go down. Anyways, today, so we have some sushi rolls. This is another continuation of my late night munchie session. And sometimes,
Where do you find sushi late at night?
well, I have places.
He's like, I'm a guy.
Sometimes you make wrong decisions. So I've got a beautiful albacore special,
Nice.
and I have something called the Caribbean roll, which
Yeah, I've been
has
looking at that. It's like got
mango
yellow
and
stuff on
raspberry.
it.
So we'll have
Okay.
to see.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sometimes things just grab you, especially when
Right.
you're out drinking, enjoying yourself. And with it, I have a fabulous beer, Rayon Vert. You familiar with this beer, Stephen?
Yes, I am.
So
Delicious.
Chuck Silva, the brewmaster at Green Flash, created this. I think Belgian Pale Ale. Oh my gosh, it's very,
ahead?
very
Lot of
highly
heady.
carbonated right now.
It's heady.
It's a little warm, but still, that's pretty shocking. Let's see how it does here. And anyways, this is a beautiful beer. Britannomyces. It's just a thing of beauty. Steve, I'll let you top off yours real quick. Beautiful color expression, high carbonation. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. I love the color on it.
Love the nose.
Yeah.
Love the nose. Classic Orval.
Oh yeah. Nice. It's like a bready sort of funkiness to it that's just works perfectly with
Huge
this.
Brett characteristics. I love saisons with sushi. I'm a big sashimi person actually, but sometimes you're out with people and you have
want the rolls,
too.
yeah.
So I actually love it, but we're going to try these out. I think they're going to go really well with this.
I feel like I need to dig into this. This
You
one
go.
here
Let me
real
know.
quick.
Let me know how it is. Cheers, everyone. Oh, I'll tell you what. The Abercore Special with the roe on it, beautiful. The Rayon Vert cuts right through it. Hits the wasabi, handles it beautifully, accentuates it on the end palate. How is your Caribbean roll?
It's very interesting.
Okay, I got to jump in there to see.
It's got a nice sweetness to it. The mango really adds something to it.
Well, it's got spicy tuna in the middle.
Really works with the beer though too.
Okay, good. I thought it might. You know, obviously tropical flavors or fruit flavors, the raspberry, the mango, they're going to naturally go well with the Belgian Pale. That's not terrible. I actually like it. Comes out nice. The wasabi actually adds a nice kick. The soy sauce. I highly recommend people, when you go to a sushi restaurant, always ask for low sodium soy sauce. Regular soy sauce is almost like pure liquid salt.
Right.
And so you don't even miss it with the low sodium because it's still very salty, but at least it gives you the benefit of cutting back. A lot of times, especially if you're eating sashimi, you're eating all this healthy fish, not a lot of other ingredients. And if you can just do that little bit, it'll help you.
Well, and I think the high sodium or the regular soy sauce is going to throw off the pairing as well if you're trying to pair a beer with it.
Well, it can, definitely, but there's so much complex flavors involved in different sushis. But that's why a lot of clean, crisp beers are usually served at sushi restaurants, i.e. Asahi, Keurig, things like that.
This really works though. I enjoyed that. I didn't think I'd like the raspberry one, but it was good.
That's what's fun about sushi. There's a lot of different flavor profiles. But really, you can do these cleaner, crisper beers, or we're craft beer fans, so we like things like IPA.
Right.
Brettanomyces beers, things like that, cleaner, crisp. A really good crafted Pilsner, like a fresh Pilsner Urquell. I've actually eaten sushi in Czechoslovakia.
Nice.
That was flown in fresh and had a great Pilsner. It's just amazing, complex thing. I'd say unless you're having like unagi, some really sweet eel with the sweet sauce on it, almost all your different forms of sashimi, sushi, say you're having a tuna collar, something like that. If you want a great beer, you can definitely do these clean, crisp beers, and this Rayon Vert is stunning. Thank you, Chuck. It's an amazing beer.
Cheers to that.
I'm going to have it with some ginger after this, but cheers, Stephen. Thank you guys for watching another Master Pairings.
So we're back, and we're gonna do the Sans Pagaie now. And I already opened it, and it kind of got a little excited. So we got a little bit of the money shot on the table.
Bit messy.
It's got a very similar smell. you know?
Yeah.
It's
it
not
does.
too harsh.
The
It's
cherry's a lot more subdued on this one.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not quite as in your face with the cherry.
Right. I almost feel like we should have reversed the order of these and kind of worked our way into the
Like
Kriek.
Cantillon's a palate wrecker.
No, not a palate record, but it's just like it's the flavor profile on the cherries and the lambic is so much stronger and so much more funky and in your face that this kind of like pales back a little bit. It's a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, I definitely think this is, like you said, more funky. And the cherry on the nose on this was a lot more in your face,
Right.
I think. Where with the breweries,
face.
it's like very soft cherry, and it blends very, very well with.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the reasons I really like this beer, and I actually think that it's pulling ahead of Oud Tart, in my opinion, as far as my personal viewpoint on these two beers.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
I like this beer better than Oud Tart, and I think that this beer is a beautiful beer to introduce somebody to a sour.
Yeah.
If you've never had a sour, like this is a great beer because of its subtleties, because of the fact that the sour notes on it are not so puckering and so demanding of you. Whereas Oud Tart is much more like, bam,
Right.
it's sour.
Yeah, I think
But-
this one has a little bit more acetic quality to it. You know, it has leans a little bit more on that like vinegar.
It definitely hits you up front
Right.
more prominently than well, you said acetic. I'm referring to the Kriek, the Cantillon, where like the more acidic notes hit you on the back of the palate.
Yeah.
But like I said, on the Kriek, it started off with a lot of cherry up front, a lot of the softness. This is definitely a little. It's got a little more burn up front, like all the way across.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's interesting because I'm wondering if, they probably did use like an actual different variety of cherry. I think that would be really interesting to have like the same sour beer and use actually like different kinds of cherries. Because didn't they use like puree and whole cherries in this? Or?
Yeah, they used a whole bunch of cherry. Like I said, we're not trying to compare the beers, but they're very comparable.
Yeah.
Right. You always, when you drink two beers like this together, you always compare them. It's not a question of like, Cantillon brews beer way better than the brewery.
Exactly.
It's not like that at all. Both of these beers stand up amazingly on their own, and put side by side like this. I think this was a great idea because of the fact that you have the super funky, super sour, super cherry,
very traditional.
Yeah.
Well,
Kriek
you have
versus the more subtle version of that. That's like, hey, you got the cherries, you got the funk, you got the sour, but none of it is so overwhelming that it's like you can't really get into it because this is much more drinkable.
It just says so much about the brewery and what they're doing with their beers, because for them being 4 years old at this point, I mean, they're pulling off a lot of amazing stuff. It's
right.
I mean, looking at it from a home brewer standpoint,
when you have 2 million barrels to blend with, then that helps too.
Well, yeah, but you do need to know a thing or two about beer.
Yeah.
So for them being as young as they are in Cantillon, they're not old, but they're definitely way older than the brewery.
Yeah. Right.
It's just a compliment to how well made the brewery beers are.
Yeah. Well, and Cantillon is the traditional Lambic producer with the cobwebs and the cats and the musk and the sacks of hops that are rotting, and it's like
the brew house from like 1837.
Right. Where it's like, I'm gonna take a tour of the brewery and then I'm gonna go take a shower.
Yeah.
So we're done through most of our major events in August. August has been a rough month. This weekend I'm actually in Omaha. Which, I mean, for you, I'm in Omaha, and I'll be speaking at the Great Nebraska Beer Festival with some other people, Brian, and I'm sorry, the names are escaping me right now, but
it's all the red.
Yeah, a couple of other beer bloggers and podcast producers. So it's going to be a great thing. We're talking about the history of craft beer and social media and how it's affected the industry. So
and then the OC Brouhaha coming up on the 8th of September.
September 8th, the OC Brouhaha, definitely need to be there. Be sure to, when you buy your tickets, use the MBT VIP code so that the OC Brouhaha knows that you love us and them.
After that, we don't really have a whole lot after that until
a whole lot of home brewing.
Yeah, after that, I'm going to sleep for a week. And so,
and then we got JBF.
JBF
is coming up fast.
I know, right? Yeah, so that's going to be epic. As always, until next time, stay safe and drink beer.